What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be introducing myself a little more for those who haven't met me in person or anything like that, because I'm sure eventually there'll probably be people I'm not very familiar with watching these videos, and I thought it'd be best to have like a little video on the channel people can just go to in order to gain a little bit of context on some of the future stuff I'll be doing. Plus, I figured it'll save me the trouble of having to explain the background on certain things in future videos or anything I put out. And I mean, above all of that, I think it'd just be cool for you guys to know me at least a little bit, considering the entire reason I'm doing these videos is to share my life with you guys. So let's get into it. Okay, guys. So first, a little bit of background on me. So I wasn't really sure where I should start with this, so I guess I'll just begin with the basics. I mean, my name is Charles Lindsay Jr., hence the channel name, Life of Charles. And the entire reason why I started this channel was just because I like editing, videography, photography, and stuff like that. I always have. The creative process about it is just something I enjoy a lot. I mean, don't ask me why, I just enjoy it. I like the creativity involved in it, and like just being able to do the different things that you can do with editing and make everything look cool, like a movie. Turn life into a movie. That's pretty much what I'm doing, turning my life into a movie, kind of like an autobiography type of thing. So I'm from Detroit. That's in Michigan, for those who don't know. I've lived there my entire life and never traveled much until I got to high school. And that's when I started competing in different stuff like sports and things. Like I was part of the Business Professionals of America in my school, and then I'd also played soccer and lacrosse throughout my high school journey. Soccer first, then lacrosse. And like I said, I never traveled much, but the sports kind of took me out of state. And then with Business Professionals of America, that was my first time ever actually flying, so I ended up flying with my school alone. When I first started high school, that's also when my dad moved out to California, so I traveled to see him like once a year. And I'm not really sure what else there is to say about me. I mean, I'm not a very social person, so I don't introduce myself to people much, but I always like keeping it to myself and working on my crafts or skills. I mean, I have the most fun when I feel like I'm getting better at something or working towards something that really has like a purpose. I mean, you guys can probably tell like my eyes are a little distracted because I wrote down notes on this stuff because like I said, I don't introduce myself to people ever. So this is kind of a first for me, and to do it in front of a camera, I'm not gonna be able to keep track of all these thoughts. So I had some stuff jotted down for when I lose like my footing. And so for those who may not have noticed the shirt I was wearing in the last video, I'm signed up to become a U.S. Marine about a year ago in May when I was 17. And I'm actually coming up on the anniversary of me signing the papers and taking the oath, but I'm not officially a Marine until I graduate high school and get my diploma, so in about a month. But I've been in this thing called the Delayed Entry Program where they train you train with Marines and stuff with my recruiter, and you train with Marines to kind of prepare you for boot camp. I won't be going to boot camp, and I'll explain why in a second, but basically you train with Marines to become more prepared with boot camp. So I've been training with them for about a year now, and yeah, I mean, I've loved every second of it, honestly. I truthfully believe the Marines was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life thus far, and I guess I'll explain why in a second. So if you watched all the way through my first video, you probably heard me mention the NROTC scholarship, Naval ROTC scholarship, which is basically just a full ride scholarship I received to go to my school of choice, which happened to be Hampton University. And with the scholarship, I have to go to college and join a naval officer program that requires me to train to become an officer in the Marine Corps and take some naval science classes along with my degree. And I'm pretty excited for it, to be honest, because, well, I wouldn't have been able to pay for college otherwise, so I'm kind of glad that this kind of fell into my lap, because originally joining, I didn't join to become an officer. I joined to enlist and take the regular route, and that's what I was on that day. My recruiter had told me about one being an officer. I didn't know what officers in the military even meant or did, and my recruiter, he was like, he had seen that I worked pretty hard, and I was just physically more capable than the other people around me, and I was pretty smart, I always have been. So he recommended me for that scholarship, and then I sat down, interviewed with about I did 2 interviews, phone interview and an in-person interview, and they decided, I guess, that I was a worthy candidate for the scholarship, so to speak. And so with that, with the scholarship, I had to do a Marine physical fitness test, which is basically it's exactly what it sounds like, a physical fitness test. So you do pull-ups, 3-mile run, and then crunches. Pull-ups, 3-mile run, and then crunches, yeah. And so the requirement, basically, if you wanted to win or be in any good standing, because it's extremely competitive, they're about, out of my region, which is Midwest, because as mentioned before, I'm from Detroit. So it was Midwest. Out of my region, there may be 3 Marines selected, because it's a naval scholarship anyways, but there are Marine option. And then out of the country, there are maybe 10 to 20 Marines that received the scholarship. So it's pretty exclusive, and there's a lot of competition, like well over 1,000, at least well over 1,000. Like, that's just a rough number, I'm guessing. There's got to be well over 1,000. Yeah, I had to train pretty hard for that, actually, because I wasn't as strong as I am now, obviously. And so I had trained for it for about like 4 months before the first decision was made. Got out there, took the test, bombed it, got rejected. They offered me as like a kind of like a solace or a condolence prize, if you will. I'm not sure if I'm using either of those words correctly, but they kind of offered me to allow me to take it again, just so I could feel a little better, because I was pretty disappointed in myself, considering I had worked pretty hard just to fall way short of where I thought I was. And so I took it again, failed again, and then I asked, for another 3rd time, and I just kept going, training, went even harder. So then about 7 months went, so it was about 7 months total for the whole process. And then I got the call, found out that I got the scholarship, and I'm gonna be able to go to college for free, or go to college at all, really, because I genuinely don't know how I was gonna pay for it before, especially with Hampton being like $120,000 after 4 years. It's pretty expensive. But one reason that I did join the military is because I think, like, as a kid, I've always just been fascinated with that kind of lifestyle. The travel, the danger, the tactical warfare, the violence, like all of it just kind of resonated with me. Playing video games and stuff like that, I would imagine myself in these different scenarios. I always loved watching spy shows, action, all of that. It just felt right. And I know that sounds kind of crazy, but I don't really care. And I mean, one thing I'm excited about the most going into this, like going into the military, is like not only be able to like experience the world for real, because having not traveled much and only living in Detroit and like for a brief period of time in the suburbs of Detroit, I realize there's like a lot out there that I don't know. Like, there's just a lot out there that I don't know. And me being me, I want to know everything there is to know about everything. So it was kind of like, it worked. It just kind of clicked. The travel, all of that stuff, and being able to experience that. But also, one thing that really reached out to me is like, I really want to be able to go around the world and like spread some good throughout the world, because there's a lot of evil in the world, and it sounds generic, like tree hugger type shit, but I want to be able to change the world for the better. And if I can improve even one person's life, that would be like, enough for me. And there was this one video my recruiter had shown me not too long ago, where it was talking about these platoons of Marines. There was a village, I can't remember the country, it was war-torn in the Middle East, like Afghanistan, Iraq type of setting. And this village their mothers were too afraid to send the children to school because of the threat of the Taliban, and they were recruiting kids and terrorizing the neighborhoods and stuff like that. So the Marines, they went out and they taught at that village. So they protected the village and taught at it so that the kids could get some education, but also the women would teach and the men, they built a school. And then once they finished building the school, they had Marines on guard watch that school so that the children could go and get an education for free. And they got an education and protection from the Taliban. And that's like the type of stuff that really just resonates with me. Like, I want to be able to do something cool like that, like building a school. That sounds awesome. And the stuff like that, that's kind of really what motivates me and keeps me going, like with every time I train and stuff like that. It's just in the back of my head, like the ability to be able to do that, and like, you know, the pain and stuff of training and, you know, pushing my limits and stuff. It's like, you know, I'm working towards that. Like I want to be able to do that type of stuff and leave that kind of impact on the world. And then also just learning about the different cultures and interacting with different people. It's just something I want to do. Yes, something I've always really been passionate about. Want to leave my mark on the world and change it for the better. I mean, that sounds like really unrealistic, like tree hugger type shit, like I said, but I mean, that's just for most people. For me, it really just, honestly, it just depends on how bad you want it. And I want it pretty bad. It seems like it was something that would be fun and intriguing. And then you also get paid to do it. Like, it was a no-brainer. But anyways, moving on. I'm a senior in high school right now, 18 years old, birthday January 20th, 2003. But I've applied. I've been accepted to Hampton University in Hampton, Virginia. So I'm going to be going there in the fall. And truth be told, the only reason I chose Hampton was because they're the only D1 HBCU lacrosse team in the country. And I plan to play lacrosse there. So, I mean, I started playing lacrosse when I was like 16, 2 years ago. So not much experience in it, but worked pretty hard at it. I got myself into a position where I've lost count, but maybe 20. I've had offers from 20 schools that wanted me to go to their school, and like calls from different coaches and stuff like that. So while I'm not, those schools were like D3, D2. But so while I'm not like at the top, I'm not at D1 level yet, but I'm a lot further than people have been in 2 years. And I say that in the most humble way possible, I guess. But yeah, I only went there because I wanted to go to basically lacrosse, because I had no real college plans prior to playing lacrosse, or many plans at all for my life. I kind of lost like all direction with what I wanted to do and fell into this pretty deep depression or whatever, where for a while I wasn't really talking. I didn't speak to anybody for about like 3 months. And I mean, like, not 6 months, my bad. I mean, like, literally, I just did not talk. I would just go to school and have no conversations all day until I started playing lacrosse, you know, that team camaraderie type of thing. I don't know what it was, but it just changed my life. Like, I really enjoyed it. It was a good venting for a lot of my aggression that I held on to. And, you know, my natural lust for violence and bloodlust kind of just made me kind of perfect sport for me, honestly. It's just very physical, very violent. I like that. I play long pole. So my entire job is to beat people up, and I gotta tell you, it's fun. When I went to visit Hampton about a year ago for a lacrosse camp that was happening in January as a Christmas gift from my mom, we went down there, flew down to Virginia, and I got to see the campus and learn more about the school, and I like immediately knew it was the place I need to be. Like, it just felt like home. Honestly, it felt more like home than home feels like home. So I guess that's why they have the motto, the home by the sea. So that's where I'll be going in the fall and stuff. It had all the stuff I wanted. Big school, lacrosse, strong business curriculum, and different programs for extracurriculars in business that would allow me to network and stuff like that. And it was far away from home. And that's one thing that I really wanted to do. I never planned on staying in state or anything like that, because, you know, I like traveling. I want to see some new stuff. I love the adventure. So be moving out there by myself and stuff. I'll actually be the first person in my family to live alone. No one in my family, has ever lived alone. So I'm looking forward to it. And I'm going to be studying entrepreneurship while I'm there, and possibly picking up a minor or two. I'm not really sure. It's unlikely. I'm not a big fan of school. I'm about to graduate with a 2.5, so it's unlikely I'll pick up a minor or so, but there's so much I want to learn. I feel like it would just make sense to pick up a minor, but who knows? We'll see how that goes. Considering I'm not paying for school, who knows? I might pick up a few extra classes. So with summer coming up, I have a lot of stuff planned for myself. That's all pretty simple, and actually it's not a lot at all, because as it stands right now, I'm in Houston in Texas, living with my dad until it's time for me to graduate, since my school and my job is completely online. But the day I graduate back in Detroit, I'll already be on my way to officer training for a week in Chicago, because I'm supposed to leave like the day I graduate or the day after. So like as soon as I graduate, I'm shipping me off to Chicago for some officer training, and then afterwards I'll be headed to Virginia to take some summer classes early and get a few credits and meet some people at Hampton, considering I only know about 3 people going to Hampton right now. So I'll be doing their pre-college summer program, and then when that's over, pretty much just going to be staying at Hampton. By then, it'll be time to be a student full time and be fully enrolled into my scholarship and everything like that. So with this summer program through Hampton, I'd be taking classes in the morning and then having like various activities planned in the afternoon, and then I guess pretty much just living life in Virginia, because I'll take 3 classes. I'll be taking Intro to Psychology, Written Communications, English, and math. Pretty basic math, which shouldn't be too hard considering I've been in advanced math my entire life. But I'm going back to regular math just to boost my GPA, since I'm not going to be paying for the classes. There's no real point to go ahead. So I'll just boost my GPA and stuff like that. But I feel like, that summer program stuff, it'll be a cool experience, just like living on my own and getting used to that stuff before diving head first into the school stuff. And I think it'll be a pretty cool experience to capture and whatnot, and take you guys with me on that type of stuff. Which actually brings me to my last point, the plans with this channel. So they're actually pretty simple. I don't have it. Like I said, I really just started this to just share my life with you guys and be able to edit, share some of my videography and creative ideas with you guys. But the thing is about that is my life is pretty chaotic, and I have no idea what direction I'm headed in, like whatsoever. I have a general idea with the military and stuff like that, but like in terms of specifics, I really wouldn't be able to tell you guys, because I'm in like this huge transition period where I have no plans for real. So the direction this channel is going to be headed in is going to be very open-ended, to say the least. But they'll pretty much be centered around the stuff mentioned in my intro, videography, vlogs, a little bit of gaming, edits I make, and pretty much whatever else you guys can think of that you might want to see that might be entertaining to you guys. I'm open to doing that too, honestly. I just like the creative process, so give me any ideas and I'll make it happen. Honestly, I don't even know how big I want this channel to get, truthfully. My main focus is just making stuff that people would actually want to see, and if that brings more people in that want to see that stuff, then that's great. But like I said, this is mostly just a cool hobby I enjoy, but I do take this stuff pretty seriously, so I love to hear feedback and stuff like that on my videos, positive or negative. Really, I don't care. Y'all can be as harsh as you'd like. It really doesn't bother me. I like getting better. So that's all I really got for this. I'm always open to a Q&A type of things, or Q&A video or whatever, just answering questions you guys might have later on. And if there is something you want to know more about me, or something I didn't really go into detail about, you can go down below and voice it, I suppose, if you feel so inclined to, or maybe something you're curious about. Obviously, with the channel being so small, I'm going to see everything, so it's really the best way to interact with me. But thanks for watching. This video was a little more boring, which is why I was hesitant to make it, but I hope you guys enjoyed it, or maybe learned what you wanted to learn nonetheless. Again, thanks for watching, and subscribe if you're ready for more content, and I'll see you guys in the next one.